Dear Venerable Sisters and Brothers, Dhamma Prince, today also we are going to start the day's talk. Today is August 13th in our modern era, and according to my calculation, the 5th talk in this series. So may you all settle down and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Katame tayo dhamma pahatabba tayo tisso tanhati ti. Dear Venerables, Dhamma Friends, we are learning a lesson from Venerable Maha. He says, when we are advancing in this journey towards the understanding or emancipation, we must understand there are 3 things we have to get rid of, or we have to understand they are the root cause for this perpetuation of suffering. And if someone is to use a single term, we can say tanha, craving. But here it is being given in 3 shades: kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. There are 3 functions. So that expansion or this analysis is sometimes helpful for the yogi, for the person dealing with it, to see where to start and what are the different functions they are performing, and some of them we can comprehend with this our common rational mind. But if we are to understand their inner tendencies and other circuits behind the normal dashboard, we have to have some theoretical understanding, like Venerable Maha or the Buddha, and on top of that we have to see it with context, in the contextual meaning with what we understand and what is behind, and further on we have to experience it under one's very nose. So up to now, yesterday, we try to understand this tanha, the kama tanha. The most prominent, conspicuous thing is what we call the sense pleasure. Or it has already leading the human nature and nation or humanity through the pleasure principle. So everyone is chasing behind the pleasure, not only human, each and every animal. So therefore it is a kind of one single criterion we can explain the total behavior of the being. Difference from the non-living things. Living things always striving for towards the pleasure principle. So that is we call the desire or craving towards the sensuous pleasure, and it is always connected with subjective materiality or matter, the eye depending on the visual objects, and we always very discreetly discriminative to see the pleasurable shapes and colors. The ear is always connected with sounds, and it is not worrying about these shapes and colors, and is not applying. Only the eardrum is connected or related with sounds, and we have a lot of different kind of sounds, and therefore different kind of likings and disliking. And smell, taste, the bodily tactile sensation. So you can see how the present day technology, how the present day multi-billion and multinational companies understand the pleasure principle, and they are thinking on behalf of ourselves and create so much of shapes and colors as if our mother and father. Thinking about our happiness day by day. And different kinds of music can give, and different smells, different tastes, and different car models and furnitures and architectural designs and everything. It's appear like they are day and night working. As if our well-being, or as if for our sense pleasure. So therefore we feel we are in a very adventurous and advanced stage, because we are ever advancing along this sense pleasure. But when we see the first order country and the third world country, suffering is the same. Exactly the same. Whether you achieve the whole top class technology by just pressing button, you can get everything. But in the same society, so much of suicidal trends, so much of frustration, so much of tension. And fortunately or unfortunately, their data is quite open now. When you study the national data, we can see how much under the psychological diseases or pathogenic level, medicine, physically, mentally, and when you come to the third world country, and there also we can see, and their data not much available, because their bookkeeping is not much updated, but exactly the same. So therefore, this sense pleasure we can achieve, we have achieved, but still there are some precipitations whereby suffering is the same. So we have to understand the Kamatanha itself cannot explain the total behavior of the living beings. There is another sum behind the screen part which the Sigmund Freud failed to understand. Specifically at this early part of his life, he told whole behavior is sexual, which is explain everything through the sexual behavior, but later only, towards the latter part of his life, he accepted there are some tendencies. But Buddha, he told, there's another tendency, another craving like bhavatanha, because you have a personified or personality conceptual person, and consider that person is living even tomorrow and next life, and for not only the present sense pleasure, not only the then and there happiness in the eye, ear, nose, tongue and the body, but there's a kind of existence. You are responsible. So therefore you have to tire. You have to do overtime work. You have to go here and there and earn something and do professional thing and skill and kind of thing. That is not for immediate pleasure, immediate sense pleasure, but you sacrifice your sense pleasure for the bhavatanha, because existence. Our singular nation, Buddha singular nation must exist, that must thrive. So therefore we have to take care of our children, our tradition, our creed, everything. So therefore there's another existence, and therefore some people taking bhavatanha in a much grave way, and they sacrifice the kamatanha and keep on working. And for people looking from outside, they are merely not working for their present visual objects or sounds or taste or smell or this thing, but for future. That is basically he or she is having a kind of a notion, perception, personality. And then it goes to very difficult part, it's always perverted. There are some people vehemently say there is no such personality, we are not responsible about our moral behavior, do whatever it may be, live happily, don't worry about the future. It is less religious. We can live atheist-like life and do whatever you do. And likewise they are thinking about nihilism, no such a substance continuing from life to life, so nothing to worry. So that was a hell of a problem, and it is still difficult to understand for the theism, how so much of people are now going against theism. And even in America, this is 40% people, they go for atheist. And they found at least among the scientists, 40% are atheist. And other 60% still they believe God. For them, Sunday morning to Friday evening, they are scientists. They kill God. They are just it. And Friday evening to Sunday morning, Sunday go to church and pray God and everything. So they are dualistic way. It's a joke. At the laboratory, they are fighting to say everything is material, everything is explainable, everything is rational, everything is through the formulas and kind of thing. But the weekends, they go and pray. And this is ambiguous, but it comes rather within the category of vibhava tanha, the nihilistic kind of a instinct we have, just like we have a self, and it is eternal, we have to take care. And there's another instinct, Sigmund Freud put it as a death instinct, and the Buddha says, vibhava tanha, that kind of a negation of that kind of a continuity, or sassatavada, or eternal theory. So when and where once vibhava tanha come into being, it's always very difficult to explain through the external behavior, through the expressed behavior, but there's underneath the sour taste, the bitter taste, and if something goes wrong, he or she is ready to commit suicide or to kill someone. That is the extreme, but we consider it's a pathogenic situation, no sickness, but the instinct is there. Not only that, that instinct is there even in the young children. Very difficult to understand, so therefore very difficult to prove in society at large. But can I understand it when and where the mindfulness is fully intact, when and where the meditation is properly happening and advancing? What is this element of vibhava tanha, and how they are working with bhava tanha? Bhava tanha is if I have to take an example, if the bhava tanha is the matter, it's a mirror image like a vibhava tanha. Or you can say if a person is there and his shadow is there, like they are reciprocally each other, but completely opposite. And vibhava tanha hardly you can put under the name of tanha, because it is utter hate. Tanha is craving. When it is work in a perverted way, vibhava tanha is hate. So now we are selling tanha as a kind of a vibhava tanha, kind of a hate in the same packet. How internal interaction, how one can interpret vibhava tanha is a tanha. But it's almost all the activities in vibhava tanha is utterly negative, utterly destructive. So hardly you can put it under the name of tanha. So when we are advancing, maybe on theory or in the rationalization or in our practical experience, this ambiguity. We start with utter craving, end up with utter hate. So this shifting, this metamorphosis, changing from to the other, how it happens and how much it is thrills to understand the cheating mind, how the perversion of the mind. So that part usually very difficult to put it in a linear way of teaching, but we'll try in our meditation how much this kama-tanna, bhava-tanna come under the craving, desire, and vibhava-tanna appear like desire, but desire to die, death instinct, desire to kill someone in order to maximize your pleasure, in order to maximize your existence. So that perversion, that coloration, that changeover, it can happen immediately. And that is the part we find immoral-like. We find it very difficult to explain in the morality, very difficult to explain the linear system, but that is what it happens. So therefore, one may conclude that kind of a changeover from bhavatanna to vibhavatanna, very difficult to understand with bare attention. The bare attention must be very advanced and come up to the very powerful mindfulness. Then only you can see underneath in the iceberg or in called the subconscious, how these bhavatanna and vibhatanna changing each other morning to evening, and beginning of the object is one and end of the object is another. It's so quick. Your hedonic coloration. Whenever pleasurable thing happen, bhavatanna is fully elated and very happy. Okay, I got what I need and kind of thing. But when the pleasure is going, you are not happy. You feel like you are the same person, but your reaction or your coloration, hedonic, completely different. So are we ready to accept the beginning of the pleasurable feeling? We accept hug and kiss. But when it is disappearing, not happy. And we are not ready to accept it. And whenever the painful feeling happens, very unhappy and sour taste and astringent and kind of, but when it's disappearing, the pleasure happens. And we attribute the pleasure of a painful feeling is with the tail of pleasure. And how quickly we can grasp starting pain, negative, and end is pleasure, can we see both as the feeling changes its hedonic tone, can we see how quickly our mind is changing to fit into that pleasurable feeling, starting with smiling, and some or the other we have to accept openly or in a hidden way, end is a suffering. Painful feeling, starting is very negative, and when it's going there, disappearing, cessation is the beginning of the happiness, and how can we accommodate it? So some says, those who cannot accommodate it called schizophrenia. You find two personalities within ourselves, and at the beginning of a feeling one person, at the end of the feeling another person. And if you are ready with impermanence, notion of impermanence, you can see that is not your task, it is not what you do, this is the human mind. Even just a piece of pleasure and pain, the hedonic tone, the feeling tone, so quickly changing, and you can't give a satisfactory answer. Unless otherwise you use three terms, kama-tanna, bhava-tanna, vibhava-tanna. But the thing is, kama-tanna is coming to the craving side and vibhava-tanna is nothing but hate. The day you understand it is the evolution starting from the stopping point. This has stopped now. This is 40 million years before the human being came up to the evolution and stopped. You can't go beyond because you can't understand how the pleasure can change into the pain and the pain quickly can change into the pleasure. You can adopt. It is not the cheating nature. That is the nature. But you are not ready. due to your social norms and cultural values and your personalities and your likings and disliking, you never think we can adopt into that. So imagine the task of the Buddha. Imagine the task of the Buddha. When the pain arises, yes, it is pleasurable and welcoming mood, but when it is disappearing, the mind is well fit to understand it's a pain. So it is not a cheating thing. It is not a bad trait. It's nature. Are we ready? Are we ready? The very loving person we meet, underneath there is a hate. That's why the Buddha says, Pemato jayati soko. Whatever you love is the source of suffering. Tanhaya jayati soko. Whatever you have the delightful pleasure, this is the source of suffering. So when and where you to renounce, you are renounced from these desirable things. So it appears like a hate. Society totally accepts it as a hate. Renunciation is, they think that you are going against the grain. You are not with hedonic crowd. You are not with this pleasure principle. So you go. And before the enlightenment of the Buddha, there were some ajivakas, there were some recluses, a lot of, sects. You remember the 4 things the Siddhartha, the prince saw, sick person, old age person, death and a recluse. That recluse is a clear indication he is going against the rule, against the society. He is ready to accept the pleasure can be pain, pain can be pleasure, so therefore I am not with the majority of you because you are totally going behind the pleasure. You mad. You don't believe the pain is the one creating the pleasure. So I become bald-headed or have long hair or have some that kind of odd color, something like this. You behave in such a way like a pillar. You whole bloody fools going behind the pleasure. But never mind. I think the pleasure is the very pleasure is the one creating suffering. So I am ready to accept. You people are searching suffering. You are behind suffering. Outwardly extrovert, pleasure principle. But at the end, utterly searching suffering because tanhaya jayati soko, pemato jayati soko. So even they renounce from the materialistic world, but they found nothing regarding the kama tanha, bhava tanha and vibhava tanha. But they have done a very genuine experiment, going against the grain, renounce it, and that is the clue the Buddha to be took, and he renounced the same night. And when there, he thought that self-mortification is the answer. But the whole society is going for pleasure principle, so they go for self-mortification. And he did utmost 6 years. No one can imagine. Therefore, when you are writing your interview reports, just have that picture in front of you, where the Buddha is having this, Dasuththara kriya. What are we talking about? We are talking about some kind of a heaviness on the head, we can't meditate. We say muscle dance is happening so that we can't meditate. And mosquitoes are there, so you can't meditate. People are coughing, so you can't meditate. There's a rain, so I can't meditate. So it is too hot, I can't meditate. Bullshit. Just have that photo. What are we doing? Even for our day-to-day earning, we are suffering. We undergo that kind of thing. So you need not Buddha to come and answer your muscle dance. Buddha to come and say that heat and cold happen. This is common sense. Whatever you have to earn, you have to sacrifice something. But later, he went into the other side, learning the Rupa Jhana, Arupa Jhana, that means absorption on the materiality and non-materiality or subtle materiality, he was so fast, within 1 week, he mastered all the jhanic achievement. And the teachers told, you are a best student, please take my team and we can run the class, you take half and I will take half, because you are such a bright person. Then he told, I go in search of King Kusala Gaveji, what is the truth? I achieved this very bad side as a very good side, but I can't see that I see the escape. So therefore, thank you very much. I am leaving. So this King Satya Gaveji, King Kusala Gaveji, what is the skillfulness and what is the truth, still remains. He knows the whole range, the kingly, princely palace, and then the utterly forest living and total emancipation and self-mortification, and achieving Rupa Jhana, Arupa Jhana. So it's fairly a good range. But he claimed, no, I am now qualified to go for this King Satya Gaveji, what is the truth, what is the skillfulness. So, with respect to the pain that we took yesterday and early part of the today's talk, when the pain happens, if you are only searching behind this pleasure principle, you are one-eyed person, you cannot see the depth. So you have to have at least 2 eyes, then only you can see the depth in this feeling world or this hedonic experience. So therefore, the day you accommodate the negative feeling or painful feeling as the essential part in this meditation, that is how you are starting to understand the truth of suffering. And when you go to meditation centers, we of course, when we are planning meditation center, we try to give bare facilities for you to thrive, but no luxuries, utilities. Those misunderstanding. So with this kind of a thing, it will not be fit for every person or every class, but this is what happened. But when you try to understand one single object or one single posture for your repetitive application of mindfulness, you are bound to see, bound to bump with pleasure and pain. And if you are a still person with the Kamatana, you will ever happy with the pleasurable feeling and never happy with painful feeling. And that is how your interview reports. Write the interview report and read it again. I am repeating. Write your interview report and read it again, and what are the things you are complaining? What are the things you find difficult? It was very tiny, unpleasant, unbecoming, painful situation. That is hurting your ego. That is hurting your personality distinct. That is why you want to ask from Dhammajiva Hamduru, Bhante, how can I meditate without disturbing my ego? Without disturbing my perception of personality? So I am a wrong person for that question. So that is what we have to understand. Personality never allows you to be enlightened. It's always blocking. So therefore, when the painful feeling happens, see the face of your personality perception. What are you going to maximize? Are you going to maximize the pleasure? Or are you going to understand the things as they are? Or are you going to understand the impermanent nature? Or you want to have the permanent, pleasurable, auspicious ego. So you are qualified. You are not living in the household life for the moment, and you are not maximizing your profit or gain and fame. Now when you go there, so theory must come and say, when you focus your attention to the primary object, it's very rare it is happening. When and where it is happening, are we ready, am I ready to see the pain and pleasure as two adjectives, but the subject is the feeling. Subject is feeling. How much we are carried away by these adjectives. When it's pleasurable, elated. When it's painful, so upset, depressed. So this is somewhat an addressing to the bhavatanha, how much you feel disheartened. Person like me, how can I face such a painful feeling, because I am so much of a meritorious person, I am renounced person, I am 8 precept holder, so why the pain coming to me? So that is very, very profoundly you ask that question in these interview reports. Because of your few days of celibate life, you think whole the past accounts will be balanced and paid off, and you must have only the pleasure. So that comes through the permanent notion. That comes through the egotistic idea, bhavatanha. It is always with the eternalism. It's a permanent. I am a permanent person, I am developing, I am now with the precepts, I am a meditator, I am monk or I am nun, and therefore that cannot be. All the people must come and pay respect to me and venerate me. No one look down me, no one must give the inferior thing to me, everything superior must come. So it is coming from that bhavatanha. So if you wish to understand bhavatanha, you have to understand what happened when the unpleasant thing happened. When the painful thing happened, is your devotion and saddha is going down? Is your precepts broken? Is your mindfulness is breaking? Mindfulness may be if you are not well instructed. But the well instructed yogi must understand when and where the painful thing happen, and that is the point you can understand how much I can put up with the pressure of painful feeling, and how much I can endure painful feeling. Can I still be face to face with one split second, one breath more, one more rising and falling, one step left leg and right leg, and there the point your mindfulness is improving. That's a break-even point. Daily you are improving, but I mentioned in the day today in the question and answer, that improvement you can't gauge. But the Buddha said, take for into grant, is happening. So therefore unpleasant, irritable, self-critical, or fault-finding atmosphere happens, mind happens, just be with it. See, this is my personality. This is the way I have tried to tolerate this kind of thing and be immunized for that kind of thing, not to the last end, one split second more compared to your past memory. And when it is happening, the day you are ready to understand the pleasure, pain must be there. To understand the pain, the pleasure must be there. They are reciprocal each other. And it is not only for you. It is not a special menu for you, it is a la carte. Everyone is getting the same menu. You think you have to have the special. Just go for the days, this thing. I don't know, it's in French, it is called a la carte or something like that. How do you call? A la carte? Yeah, so it's a normal presentation. But you think, no, I am not going for everyone's menu, I have to have a special. That is all the time in the sensuous world. As you can see, exactly the same in the meditators. Exactly the same. The day you see it, you become critical about yourself. You become sarcastic about yourself. You become radically reflecting about your impression, and that is no boundary. Sky is the bound. You can go. That's the point evolution is taking place. So I thought of giving a classic example from the Tripitaka, how when it is happening, you can gauge, you can feel your advancement, your progress. Not only in sitting, not only in walking, even in the day-to-day activities, but I hope it will be easier someone to understand under the retreat atmosphere, because we are fully geared in that. So I would like to quote this Malunkyaputta Sutta. So often I quote. It is a long sutta in Samyutta Nikaya, where the old monk visit the Buddha and say, Bhante, give me an encouraging talk so that I can go away from the people and fully in the ardent energy, inclined to Nibbana, I can practice. So give me an encouraging talk. Then Buddha is telling, you all come and always asking special instructions like you. If you come like that, what about the young generation? I have given everything. Do whatever you like. So Buddha is giving a kind of a, maybe that is the same thing I am also, when the old people come, I always feel like I am also too old now. So anyway, later Buddha is catching with the dialogue. He says, okay, what do you think, Malunkyaputta? Yang kinchi chakku vinyaya rupa aditang aditya pubbana passati na cha hoti passi santi. Imagine a visual object you have never seen. Now you are not looking at also. It is not to be seen also. And you are not to seen in even future also. Will there be any kind of a attachment or delight or lust for that kind of a visual object? You have never seen, you are not looking, you are not seeing, and you are supposing that you will not see in your rest of the life. Will there be any kind of a ragangva, pemangva, chandangva, lust or delight or craving? No, Bhante. No. There is a kind of a sound perceivable for your eardrum. You have never heard. You are not hearing. And nothing to heard, and in future also it will not, you will never hear that kind of a thing. You are not listening, you are not hearing. Will there be any kind of a repercussion regarding the delight or lust or craving for that kind of? No, Bhante. And there is a kind of smell, exactly the same. There is a kind of a taste. There is a kind of tactile sensation you have never experienced before. Now you also not passively or actively experience. In future also, there won't be the chance to come across that kind of thing. Will there be any kind of a delight, any kind of a lust, any kind of craving for that kind of a smell or taste or contact? No. That's all the Buddha says. That's all he is telling. And taking that is as an example, when you Maha, he deal it in very in detail. He says, you see, whatever the defilement arising, it is arising now. Not with the past, not with the future. So therefore, if you can tackle it now, that's forever. Don't worry about the past thing. Don't worry about the future thing. Mind your own business, be mindful. Here, now. And whenever Malunkyaputta got so much of catalytic effect, inspired, then he says, he would have experienced and meditated much before. According to his own experience, he says, after getting this kind of a clarity, what will happen if you look at something with mindfulness and without mindfulness? It's a very nice, very vivid, very dramatic presentation. The person is well aware of the mindfulness. It is not just mere bare attention, it is kind of a persistent mindfulness. And he knows, I am not supposed to look. But seeing happens. A visual object or sound or a shape or a color strike. Or we call avenue to your eye sensitivity. Or face to face with your eye sensitivity, and under such circumstances, you know you are not supposed to do it, but it has happened now. I get the example of when you are doing walking meditation. In the middle of the walking, you can fairly manage left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. When you go to the corner and when you are turning, often your mind run away to visual objects, sounds and other parts of the body, wind movements and kind of thing. And there's a kind of a weakening of your mindfulness, and therefore wandering mind can happen, daydreaming happen in the end of the walking path. And there you see a flower or a butterfly or a bird or something like that, and it is not under your control. Immediately I go there and strike. What a special butterfly, only you can in the Nissarana. What a kind of thing. It's a special kind of a bird, only find in this kind of a rainforest, and you feel like, look at it. Whatever may be. And under such circumstances, you are supposed to be with your sensitivity of your skin, of the soul. That is what the left leg, right leg. But instead, the mind is now in the sensitivity of your eye, and visual is working with the visual object. Face to face is the visual object. And when this kind of a thing happens, you are supposed to be with your tactile sensation of your soul. That is what you promised to have in walking meditation. But instead, now eye sensitivity become prominent because of the striking color or shape or a bird or whatever maybe. Now you know, I am supposed to be here, but eye is there. That is what you call you are mindful. You know, I am supposed to be here, but I am with visual object. Instead, you may forget about you are a yogi, you forget about you are walking, and you are completely absorbed with this thing, and that means completely carried away. The lust can happen, the desire can happen, or delight. You can take delight of what is happening, so you completely get absorbed. That means you are carried away, or bewildered, or wandering. So when these two happens, one day it will happen, because we know whenever we are doing something, another thing came and taken for a ride. And now we be mindful, we know we are supposed to be here because this is the secure area, this is what we appointed place, but you see mind is going without any signal, just like a monkey mind, jumping to one to the other. And over there, if you can be aware, I am supposed to be in my Ajata Gochara Bhumi, that means my secure place, appointed place, but now I am in the insecure place. That very understanding going to give a special meaning for the feeling, special meaning for the craving, special meaning for the mindfulness. So all the three shades, Venerable Malunky Buddha is enumerating. He says, if you are unmindful, Rupandisa sati mutta, you see object but utterly unmindful. Sati mutta, that means your mindfulness is very blunt. You can't understand, I am a yogi, I am supposed to be in the leg, but you are completely with the observing object. Saratta chitto vedeti, then your main thing is lust or delight or craving. You absorb, you imbibe and you taste what is the visual object. Saratta chitto vedeti tancha ajjosa tittati, and you feel how nice if I can have a very close observation. How nice if I can get a photo and take it to the house. Likewise, you are storytelling start, or you enter into that object light, plunge into that object light, because it is very delightful, because it is lustful, which is craving. Saratta chitto vedi tancha ajjosa tittati. So therefore attraction or magnetizing effect to that object, you have no control. Tassa vaddati vedana aneka rupa sambhava. Then you are not seeing now, but you are proliferating. What a color combination. It's a very, very nice place, and my eyes are also very good, and I see. And you keep on daydreaming, fantasizing about what you have seen. Tassa vaddati vedana aneka rupa sambhava. And it you carried you for a ride. And you can't remember you are a yogi. You can't remember you must be back in your touch of your leg, and you can't remember that you are utterly taken by the delight, utterly taken by the lust, and there you keep on doing. You are taken for a ride, like you are walking in a slippery river bank. Now you slip into the river and taken away. And you don't know, you delight it. Because it is the visual object is delightful, it is lustful, it is craving. So aneka rupa sambhava abhijjata vihesaja chittu asa upahanyati. Sometimes if it is disappearing, you feel sorry, and otherwise you have so much of love for the visual object you have seen. They are quickly changing now. Whenever the desirable thing is disappearing, you feel utterly upset. And if it is in vivid, you become so full of lust, so full of delight, so full of craving. They quickly changing with this strange visual object. And he says the amount of defilements you are accumulating. Because your secure land is here, now you are in the other area, away from your secure place, and abhijjata vihesāca cittu upahanyati, there you start to develop frustration and tension and all the kind of thing, because you are no more in the primary object. And then he says you are far away from Nibbana, far away from peace of mind, far away from your well-being. So this is what happened before we came into mindfulness. We never knows what is the secure land, what is the less defiled place, what is my authentic place, and immediately mind run into the other branch like a monkey mind, and you take delight in. Now that is the point Venerable Mahanukaputta's the dramatic presentation. He says, suppose he is not carried away, he is not unmindful, and instead he knows my secure place is here. The mind has already taken for the delightful thing. Naso rajyati rupesu rupandisva patisato. He never take delight of the visual object. He understand, now I am away from my primary object. Naso rajyati rupesu. He is not take delight of this thing. Rupandisva patisato. He understand, I am supposed to be on my leg and the bodily tactile sensation, but now it is shifted to eye sensitivity and eye consciousness. He can mark the change and the shift from the bodily tactile sensation and the body consciousness to the eye sensitivity and the eye consciousness. That shifting of the, I would say, posture junction like, can see the train is changing the track, and that is what the mindfulness. So before going to the Mahanukapputta, I would like to little elaborate in that. By knowing, understanding verily, now you are no more with the primary object, instead it is taken away from your track, and now it is delighting in the other part. That very understanding, will it be a negative thing or a positive thing? Knowing that I am not mindful. I am away from my secured place. I am no more with the purity. Now I am mingled with, I am defiled. That very understanding the secret of your mindfulness. If you are regretting about that, you miss the bus. You miss the bus. Because this is happening not due to your will. This is the mind. This is the universal law. Even if it is the secure place, even if it is in the undefiled place, without any early sign, it jumps into the completely defiled position, and you are bloody fool regretting. As far as you are regretting, it is incurable disease. The day we understand, that very understanding, shifting of the attention from the body tactile sensation to the eye sensitivity, if you can mark it, the shifting, then onward Buddha can help, Dhamma can help, Sangha can help, your precepts can help. But that part, if you think that regretting at that moment is a moral responsibility, I have to say it is what you call ignorance. That is what you call idiotness. That is what you call the foolishness. That is what you call the darkness. You have no any self-sympathy. So whenever you jump in, you regret. Then you miss the bus. Instead of regretting, if you know now mind is in a vulnerable situation, and it is no more in the Ajatta Gochara Bhumi or secure place it is there, you are not entertaining, you are not taking delight. It is the object is not lustful, it is like a trap. It's like a snare. And you look at it not like a something to be delight, it's like a trap. So you know my mind is cheating me, it's such a secure place is there, and now instead it is with lustfully observing a thing, and you feel moral shame, you feel kind of moral fear, and you know, thing is not me, there is something happening. I am mere observer. Can I get a distance observer and observe how quickly mind is shifting from the less defiled place to the high defiled place? How can the mind shifting from the appointed object to the accidental object, gate crasher? And on top of that, if you are going to regret, that is the point, you become negative, your attitude become negative or unwise, unradical, then onward will be you will be regretting. But it is not a crime that you have done. It is something happen. It is something happening involuntary. Because eye is never towards the Nibbana. No. Even you put the eyeglasses and treat it with the morning eye drops and the evening eye drops and clean the eye and all the kind of thing, do you think that eye is helpful for you to go to Nibbana? Never. These organs, they never leading to Nibbana, they are always making a distraction. Eye is the best, main culprit. Among all the organs, eye is the main culprit. So that is why the Malukya Buddha is taking the eye faculty. And if he can understand, the meditator can understand through the mindfulness, even if it's a mishap, understand mishap as mishap, then yatasa pasato rupang sevato chapi vedana. He says, even if you are observing that object, you are supposed to be in the leg, but you observe, and you feel the feeling, it's a desirable, never you are succumb to the defilements, because you know what is happening, you have bookkeeping, you know openly, mind is now seeing, I am a seer, not a walking person. And the feeling is desirable, but you know. That very knowledge is your Buddha. That very knowledge is your Dhamma. That very knowledge is your Sangha. That very knowledge is your precepts. If you do not know that, even if you pull the mind backward, it is a reaction. It's a kind of a vehement thing. But let the mind know, you bloody fool, always searching a more juicy thing, more pleasurable thing, and that is my eye. And if you do not note it as and when it is happening, if you can't mark it, if you can't have a bookkeeping, you always think my eye is a blessing for me and it is due to my past merits only I got it, and therefore you always give three-dimensional, black and white and the 3D, 4D pictures, feeding. When it's feeding, do you think that it is leading to Nibbana? When you are giving visual objects to your children, do you think that you are helping them? Do you think that all the television people do so much of research to lead you to Nibbana? Or to give kind of a lasting pleasure? Even if it is so, can that bloody fellow stop that research? Never. Never. So what the kind of demerit they are accumulating? By making so much of big television and 3D and all the kind of thing, and they know you fool. They know consumers are fools. Even if it is wrong, they purchase it. So that is the tanna, bhava tanna. It's a kind of, I have done it, but I can't remember. You put the wheel here for the cows, and then you take it by a rope. You put a muhre down. Cows are controlled by putting a iron wheel here and pull it by. And so wherever you pull it, cow has to adjust it because it is very sensitive. Just like you are with the cow with the wheel. When it's pull, you are there. When you pull to other side, they are there. Only the multinational companies know what must be the next day trend. Next day consumerization. Next day what to do. And you do overtime and go abroad and earn. For what? For a television. And for a radio. And for a smell or taste or luxuries. And we feel they are more than our parents, always thinking about the pleasure. And we are also going behind. And exactly the same, the birds, they have no any intention to distract you from you. Flowers or butterflies. But can you understand the leg, the touch sensation is so boring. Instead the flower is so attractive, so delightful, so lustful. You see how the mind is taking the decision without consulting you? So that is what called the tendencies. That is called underlying tendencies, directed dispositions. Are we to recognize this pleasure principle or these tendencies as myself? Or ego? And is it for your benefit? Or is it for your well-being? And whenever you give someone something, a gift, you give attractive thing. Pleasurable thing. Do you think it's a promotion? Yes, promotion to hell. Passport to hell. Instead, understanding how quickly the mind is shifting the track. So therefore it says, before you touch, so to say, before you get this contact, the mind knows two things, which is more lucrative, which is more delightful, which is more lustful, the mind is going there. And instead there is a very secured place, there is a very neutral place where the touch is there, but mind is not answerable, it is not responsible, it is jumping there. And understanding this very nature, as and when it is happening in red-handed, that's the maximum capacity of the mindfulness. Pasatu chapi rupang vedito chapi vedana. He know now I am touching not the leg, but the visual object. The desire is there. Here, leg is boring. Even though you are in the seeing and this thing, you are not accumulating any demerits because you know the mechanism. Because you know the mechanism, this is what happened if you are not mindful. And now here and there, you understand how quickly mind go into this desirable thing or delightful thing. And it is not without consulting you, it is happening. So there you find the vijnana and the sankhara. Sankhara paccaya vijnana, sankhara is the volitional activities, and it is pre-decided. Vijnana get only the filtered information through sankhara or your volitional activities. So volition never ask anyone. He screen, filter, Exactly that is what happened in the media. CNN, Fox News, they have all the information and they filter what is to be telecast to promote their agenda. So news media can change governments. News media can do any the economic decision, and no one knows, and everyone think, even you are missing a meal, but you can't miss a newsreel. Never. So these 10 days, I am sorry for you people. Soon you go back home, you see news reveal at least what happened for the last 10 days, whether the dollar gone up or gone down, or iron price is going up or down, or whether there any tornado or anything happened in America, or what is happening. So without news, it's like a meal without the salt. So you see these people, they plan 20 years before. What to tell in the next 20 years? They have everything prepared. If that predicted thing not happen, they would do it for you. This is what the news. And don't worry, I am not going against the newspaper, but I am telling how your sankhara is working. How you are adjusting, or vesa nirupana, that means the face lifting, adjusting, manipulations. So it is happening before you. It is the leg is so boring, and the flower is so lucrative, and flower is so delightful, and it's gone. And you can see now, it's a secure place, no defilements, but it's full of defilements. It's oozing, and it's gone there. And the only mistake is, if you are unmindful, you regret. Then you lose the game. You miss the bus. See, the regret is not yours, it is not your conscious decision, it's called asampajana manosankhara. Some kind of a volitional, yes, but it is not consulting you. It is coming from the last life maybe, or habitual maybe, or your cultural value maybe. So they are deciding before you. So therefore some extreme people say, the life is already filmed, DVD, uneditable, only you can see, you can't edit it. It's already decided. And if you're going to say, oh, I am a fool, I did change the mind from the leg to the eye, no, you are not responsible, it is happening. Imagine if you can see it as and it happens, when it happens, that is what you call the mindfulness. That mindfulness is called power of mindfulness. Power of mind, when you give two objects, who select which to take? Never the consciousness. Consciousness is succumb to this filtering. And filtering happening, more lustful thing will be the selection. So that we are the same. Even the Buddha is the same. Even the Maha is the same. Even the Devadatta is same. Even we are the same. So in that sense we are human. Whatever the delightful, whatever with the lust, whatever with the craving, is pulling. And if you can see it, because for that you have to have a neutral object, already seasoned, leg, left leg, right leg. And when it is happening, let that mind jump. While jumping, you see, is it an intentional thing? Or is it something happened, pre-decided? So am I regretting? Or am I observing phenomena as and when it happens? So imagine, Venerable, the Mahalunki Buddha is pointing it out. Naso rajyati rupechi rupandiswa patisato viratta chitto vedeti tancha najyosa tittati. He observed it, but not with so much of delight. He knows, you see what happened now from the leg, it jumps. And he is not going to jump into and be happy. Instead, he knows now my consciousness is the I, and I know I am a pleasurable feeling. Everything is recorded. Everything is bookkeeping. And no more he is developing defilements. Instead, he is now on the spot, red-handed. I know how the mind is working. It is working only through the lust. Only giving the support to the delight. When you see it, of course you are in a trouble situation, but mindfulness is utterly guarding you. Utterly guarding you. You are not getting defiled because you know. And this is for the samsara once and for all. The day you understand, you see innocence. You see your innocence, but the mind that is due to the underlying tendencies, directed dispositions, is full. If you are not with mindful, if you are not with the secured object at your fingertip, you are vulnerable all the time. And even with the mindfulness, even with the object, you see how quickly they can coin, and then and there you observe, it's electric. It is happen or not happen, no problem. It may be or may not be. So try to be alert, try to be vigilant, try to be diligent. Whenever mind has two objects, which one it is taking, pre-decided. See it, that is, you can say, who am I? That is sound, this is profound. More the lustful thing will be taken, and don't worry about that, it's a fact. It is undeniable fact. So you are witnessing it, but see how many times whenever witnessing you get regret. You think, my mind is jumping and mindfulness is broken and the bird sound happens, or this thing happened, that thing happened. You are not a research person, you are not a scientist at that moment, you are a moralist, and ultimately end up with the where is our report, because you fail to understand things as they are. If it is happening, the Malunke Buddha says you are now very close to Nibbana. Each and every moment is critical. Each and every moment is very decisive. And the decision is not yours, but you have to suffer if you appreciate it, if you second it. So what the kind of mindfulness you should have to deny, this is not me, this is not mine, this is not myself. So Buddha gave a kind of a mantra. You see, when I go walk, innocently I am walking, and when I am in the turning, the visual object happens. I know why it is a visual object, I know it's delightful, but that visual object seeing, or this delight, is not me, it is not mine, it is not myself, it is not mere parrot-like talking. If you can understand, leg is boring, visual object is very, very delightful. Under such circumstances, when a rat, in the front of the rat, can a cat be mindful? It's so simple. Are you responsible for that? No, when the rat happens, the cat jump and take. So it is a kind of a already written DVD. Observe it when and when there. And so when the Malunke Buddha is explaining, he explained with respect to seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching. It's like a Bible if you can expand it to that. And then the Buddha says, as a token of appreciation, Buddha again recite the same, to tell that it's a Buddha word. And says Malunke Buddha, when seeing, only seeing. Don't go on storytelling. When seeing, even if you see, behave like a blind person. Don't keep on regret. Don't keep on storytelling. Don't keep on telling, my eye is very bad, it must be in the leg, but it went in the eye, and I am lost my mindfulness, and what to do, and where can I go to the next life, and is it a hell or heaven? All kind of bullshit. See, but behave like a blind person. But imagine without that kind of a lucid experience, thin slicing of time, what Buddha telling? Behave like a blind person, or stop seeing as it is, then you can bring the attention to your leg. But if you keep on regretting, it take time to come back to the normal object or primary object. So stopping. So then, usually we heard this in the Bahya Sutta, but in the Mahalunke Buddhas also, exactly the Buddha says, Ditte Jittamattam Bhavisati, Sute Sutumattam Bhavisati, Mute Mutamattam Bhavisati, Viññāte Viññātamattam Bhavisati. That is the nature. Don't go on storytelling. Don't go on fabricating. Don't go on mental proliferation. But if you have no mindfulness, if there is no secure place, what the mind can do? It is vulnerable. So that is the point where, when we are unmindful or before our mindful life, and when the day we come and see, now I am mindful, therefore I am here, if I am not mindful, he is there, that comparison is, you are qualified, because you know by yourself. So therefore don't regret about this mistake under the light of mindfulness. So there you can see how the feelings can change, how the craving can change, how the mindfulness can be evolved through this interaction, through this dialogue kind of thing. It is not linear. It is a completely matrix-like kind of thing. Each and every thought moment is a gateway opening for you to see, if you wish to see. But if no, I am not looking and I am a saint and I am only be mindful in the primary object, you will never get enlightened. How can? No, that is for your datum line. With that datum line, you have to see all the other somersaults and jumping monkey mind and all the kind of thing. While observing, see how it is leaving the pure mind, jumping into the filthy mind. How it's leaving the undefiled place and jumping into the defiled mind. How it's leading to the secure place, leaving the secure place, jumping into the insecure place. So the day you see it, you see you are the only person can save yourself, not the Buddha. Buddha can lead. Or Mahalunke Buddha, Swamin Wahanse can lead, Venerable Sariputta can lead, but under your very nose, so vividly, so in red-handed you have to observe. So therefore mindfulness must be very, very vigilant, very, very diligent, very, very prepared for that. And that preparedness is a kind of immunity. It's a kind of a vibration. It's a kind of a catalytic effect. You never get flat batteries. Battery ever get charged. When you keep on doing, whether you sit or whether you walk or whether you day-to-day activity in the center or whether you go back home and do the thing, this is exactly same. So therefore develop as much as possible tools, ways and means here, and don't think household life and this one is different as far as you have enough tools. Hope this talk also will sharpen your tools so that you can be prepared for the multitasking back at home. Thank you very much for listening.